This is Unit 2, Segments, Lines, and Angles. Preview Video 2.1, Part 2, Graphing of Lines. Here's your preview notes, folks. Make sure you get a date, time, and location. So we're going to be doing today's preview notes in your reference booklet. So find this section in your reference booklet. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. You should be in Unit 2, the first few pages of the Unit 2 reference booklet. All right, we are starting here. We're going to talk about graphing of lines. Some of these we did during the preview note last class. Ready? Graphing of lines. You're now in your preview note booklet. X equals -3 is all the points where you have a -3, comma something. Y equals 6 is all the points where you have something, comma 6. So for example, -3, 0 would be here. -3, 1, -3, 2, -3, 3, -3, 4. So x equals -3 is a vertical line. Y equals 6 is all numbers where there's something 6. So 0, 6, 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6. So you can see that that is a horizontal line. Go ahead and do these two problems on your own over the next 30 seconds. Pause the video, do your own work, and restart. Pause. Welcome back. X equals 2 is a vertical line at 2. Y equals -4 is a horizontal line at -4. Then you have the most popular form, which is slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept is when you have a slope and a y-intercept. So when we say intercept, we mean where the line crosses the y-axis. When working with slope-intercept form, always write just underneath your given equation So we're going to graph y equals -2/5 x minus 3. We start at -3 on the y-axis. Then we come here to our slope. We see that it's a negative line, so it's going to go down from left to right. Our rise is 2 and our run is 5. Alrighty, I'd like you to pause the video and do the second line on your own. Pause. Welcome back. Let's see how you did. That's positive 5 is your intercept. Taking a look here, your slope is 4/3, and it's a positive line, so your rise is 4, your run is 3, and it's going to tilt upwards from left to right. Positive 5, that's going to be the 0, comma 5 is your intercept. Rise 4, run 3, or you could drop 4 and run 3 to the left. Standard form. Standard form is something x plus or minus something y equals a constant number. There's going to be a couple ways we're going to try this. One is to change it to slope-intercept. So in that idea, your goal is to rearrange so that you end up with y equals mx plus b. So your goal is to get y by itself. When you divide that out, make sure you go to each and every term. So that is using y equals mx plus b. Another way to do this is to simply locate the x and y intercepts. Let me show you what that looks like. The x-intercept is you solve the equation as if y is 0. So let me show you what this looks like. So the x-intercept is going to be a number, and then y is 0. That would be the x-intercept. The y-intercept is going to be 0 in the x and a number in the y. So the way you solve this is, if we were to put a 0 in the y-coordinate, that would just make this 0. So we would get 4x equals 12. If you were to solve that, of course, you would get x equals 3. So our x-intercept is 3, 0. Our y-intercept is going to be where x is 0. So you look at the same equation, and if we were to put a 0 in x, that would make this whole thing 0. So 2y equals 12. So our intercepts are 3, 0 or 0, 6. Let's start by graphing that first line. So here I start at B. It's a negative line, so I'm going to drop down 2 and over 1, or I can go up 2 and over 1. I'm going to graph that line from the left. Now, if we were to have done this using intercepts, you would start by graphing your x-intercept, which is right here, 3, 0. and your y-intercept, which is right here, 0, 6. Once you have 2 points, then you can graph the line. And again, it's the same line. So it's 2 different ways to graph the same line using intercepts or y equals mx plus b. Next is the point slope equation of a line. Point slope equation of a line. When do we use point slope? We use it when we have a point, x1, y1, and a slope. This is a very common form, especially in Algebra 2. So first, let's graph the line. We're given this point, 6, -4. That's going to constitute x1, y1. And our slope, which is our m, is -1/3. So we graph 6, -4. Our slope is downward from left to right because it's negative. Rise over run, rise 1, run 3. And here would be your line. So the point slope equation of a line, here's your equation. And in this case, I'd like you to circle the 6. That's going to go right here. Circle the -4. Circle the slope. Now we're going to bring the equation down around it. We're going to clean this up just a bit. We have a double negative here, so we're going to change that to positive. So this would be what's considered the point slope equation of a line. So if I ask for the point slope equation of this line, that's where you stop. But to show you how it's related to what you're more familiar with, we're going to convert this to y equals mx plus b. So coming down here, we distribute. Just you can see this in the margin, -1/3 times -6 ends up being negative times a negative is positive, 6/3, which is +2. So that's where that +2 came from. So we're going to add 4 to both sides to get y by itself. Hang tight. About to make a mistake. That is not +4. That's -4, of course, both sides. So that right there is -2. Now we're going to take this and graph above. So our intercept is at -2. which is right there. And our slope is negative 1/3. So up 1, and to the left 3 because it's negative. Down 1, right 3. And you can see it's the exact same line. Now, let's go back to your preview notes because we have one more page to finish in the preview note. So this is where you were at, and all of this is to be completed in your reference booklet. And I want those reference booklet pages inserted on ClassKick for this preview video. So here's your last slide here. This I'm going to do with you. So the question is, what happens if your equation doesn't match any of these? It doesn't match the y-intercept form, it doesn't match standard, and it doesn't match point slope. Like in this case, this just doesn't match anything. So your goal here, the easiest way, is to get y by itself, and you're going to end up with some version of y equals mx plus b. So for this problem right here, let's do it together. We're going to start by collecting like terms. Our goal is to get y by itself. So now we start clearing things to the other side. The opposite of timesing is dividing. Now this reduces to positive 3 over 2. But 3 over 2 is a little bit difficult to graph. So we're going to change that to a mixed number. So we have y equals 1x plus 1/2. That's a little bit easier to graph. So in this case, our intercept is actually 1/2. So it's going to go right there. Don't be afraid of fractions on a graph. That is 1/2 on the y-intercept. Let me draw a nice sweeping line so it's easy for you to see. Our slope is positive 1. So we go up 1, which is 1.5 to 2.5, and then over 1. Or we can go down 1 this way and over 1. Either way, now we have 2 points to graph. Don't be afraid of fractions on a graph. Alrighty, good job.